This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 3rd day of September in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony has admitted that the Ministry of Health is facing a challenge in the turnaround time for test results for coronavirus. Just after taking office a month ago, the new PP Civic Administration ramped up testing for COVID-19 across the country. But the turnaround time for results moved from 2 to 3 days to 2 to 3 weeks. In an update provided by the government's Department of Public Information, Dr. Anthony said efforts are being made to address the backlog. He explained that currently the backlog of tests to be completed stands at close to 1,000. The backlog was almost 1,900, but earlier this week, 500 samples were sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency in Trinidad and Tobago. The results are not back as yet. Dr. Anthony said capacity to complete additional tests in Guyana is the major hurdle. He explained that since he took office and the decision was made to increase testing, a new shift system was introduced at the National Public Health Reference Laboratory. There are now 3 shifts in place working around the clock. But there is a need for additional testing machines, and that will be addressed soon, the health minister said.
We were doing probably about 60 samples per day when I took over, and we have changed that. We are now doing between 250, sometimes 300 samples a day. We have moved from having 1 shift to now having 3 shifts. But even with all of these improvements, it is now still a challenge to cope. And the only way we can increase our capacity is that we'll have to get some new machines. We have, instead of having 1 line working 3 shifts, we probably have to get 3 lines working 3 shifts.
As News Source reported last evening, some medical doctors have expressed worry about the length of time it has been taking for test results to be returned. Some persons have found themselves self-isolating for up to 2 to 3 weeks as they wait on their results. The health minister said that's an issue being addressed.
We're trying, and we understand the need to have a faster turnaround time, and that is why these interim measures like sending samples to CARFA are strategies we are employing in the interim. Hopefully we'll get over this period very soon, and we'll be able to process faster.
Dr. Anthony said the groundwork has already been prepared for more testing machines and facilities to be put in place.
We're working on it. We have contacted the company. We are now working out the logistics of getting that person into Guyana. They have to be here physically to do all the checks. So we are now finalizing the logistics of that, because with the restrictions that we have on flights, that can be a challenge. So once we have those parameters in place, then I'll be able to give you a more definitive timeline.
In the month of August, just over 4,000 COVID-19 tests were completed, which is just less than the total amount of tests that were done in the previous 4 months. Those 4,000 samples produced 943 new cases. The month of August also saw an increase in deaths, with 23 deaths being recorded in August alone, as compared to 20 deaths in the previous 4 months. The Ministry of Health continues to encourage citizens to observe the COVID-19 health protocols and guidelines, and always wear a face mask when out in the public. More news coming up in a moment.
Falls, the official distributors of Castrol Marine, Mining and Power Gen lubricants in Guyana, now has in stock CRB engine oils, high-spin hydraulic oil, Vecton semi-synthetic truck oils, and Sultex cylinder oils. For the best prices, check our dealers countrywide or visit Falls Gas Station at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, or call the commercial manager on 608-4998. Castrol, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
For all the Zoom hashouts and recipe tryouts, the world changed, and we were right there, standing with you, always near, getting closer in so many ways, laughing together as we face these days. And because we are Caribbean, we've got a special insight that tells us there's no need to worry, world. We'll be all right.
Mobil Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
New to online learning? You're probably wondering what it's like. Our online platform creates an engaging learning experience. Using any device, you can be a part of amazing class discussions, collaborate with others, and have access to virtual learning software with the help of our experienced tutors. With our multiple payment methods, you will never have to leave home. Find out how tech can allow you to learn anything, anywhere, at any time.
Mobil Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Welcome back. The number of deaths from the coronavirus in Guyana has increased by 2, taking the total number of deaths to 44. The Ministry of Public Health revealed this evening that the 2 additional deaths were confirmed as of midnight last night. Both of the latest fatalities are men. One was a 67-year-old man from the West Demerara, while the other was a 48-year-old from Region 4. No other information was provided about the 2 deaths, but the ministry explained that samples were collected from both men at the time of their admission and they tested positive for coronavirus. But there are reports this evening that the Ministry of Health might have listed one death as COVID-19 related, when in fact the person tested negative for the virus. The death has since been removed from the official figures put out by the ministry, but the ministry has not made an official announcement about the mistake. The husband of a woman who died recently while recovering from a surgery said he was told his wife was positive for coronavirus and died from the disease. However, he said 3 days after his wife's death, he was contacted by the health ministry and told that she had in fact tested negative for coronavirus. He said based on the call, it was clear that the person from the Ministry of Health was unaware of his wife's death, although she had been listed among the COVID-19 deaths. The man said he would like the Ministry of Health to issue an official document to that effect, so that his wife could be allowed a proper burial. Well, as part of the $1 million aid package to assist Guyana in the fight against COVID-19, the government of India, through the local High Commission, today handed over 29 ventilators and 30,000 hydrochloroquine tablets to the government of Guyana. India has also donated thousands of face shields, face masks, and personal protective gear for medical officials. High Commissioner of India to Guyana, Dr. K.J. Srinivasa, explained that Guyana's proposal for assistance and collaboration for fighting COVID-19 was processed under the India United Nations Development Fund.
The expectation is that we could be seeing a vaccine produced in mass numbers in India by the first quarter of 2021. India is also keeping in mind that it will have to fulfill a commitment to its other developmental partners across the world and could supply some part of this production of vaccines and share it with the developing world.
And Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony expressed the government of Guyana's appreciation for the assistance in the COVID-19 response. He indicated that the medical supplies will be utilized by the Georgetown Hospital, which houses a COVID-19 intensive care unit.
One of the critical areas that we have is really addressing hospitalized patients. The Georgetown Hospital has been at the forefront of this response. They have a transition ward, they have infectious ICU, where a lot of our COVID critical patients would go. and therefore they need to have the right environment and equipment if they would be able to deliver the kind of care that they would like to deliver. They have lots of good doctors and high competence in that unit, but sometimes one of the restraining factor or constraining factors has been that we didn't have enough of the equipment.
The government of India, according to the health minister, also intends to collaborate with the government of Guyana as part of their $17 million line of credit to upgrade 3 regional hospitals at West Amarara, Sadi, and Bartika. The health minister said with new energy being placed into regional hospital projects, the right environment will be created for better patient care. Turning now to the education sector, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and the increasing number of cases in Guyana, the Ministry of Education has made a decision to cancel the assessment examinations for grades 2, 4, and 9 for this year. In a statement, the ministry explained that the cancellation of the assessment exams this year will not affect the record of the students going forward. Schools in Guyana have been closed since March, and the reopening of the new school year in September has already been postponed. No date has been set for any reopening, but the Minister of Education, Priya Manikchan, has been consulting with teachers and other stakeholders about the next step forward. The ministry is looking to have classes conducted virtually and over local TV and radio stations. There is also a plan for school packages to be delivered to the home of students who may not have access to internet or other forms of media. Back in July, schools reopened briefly to accommodate students writing the National Grade 6 assessment exams and the CXC examinations. The government is injecting over $500 million into the education system to start preparing schools for their eventual reopening, whenever that will be. Well, 2 days after his arrest, the personal assistant to the Chief Elections Officer, Duarte Hetzberger, remains in police custody. The crime chief, Wendell Blanham, said he is still being questioned in relation to allegations of fraud at the 2020 elections. But news source understands that for the first day that Mr. Hetzberger was in custody, he was not questioned at all and was just left sitting on the bench at the police CID headquarters. The probe into allegations of electoral fraud was triggered by private criminal charges filed by Member of Parliament for the PPP and Minister Charles Ramson Jr. The Director of Public Prosecutions has taken over the private matter and is now overlooking the prosecution. The private criminal charges that were filed against the Chief Election Officer, Keith Lowenfield, are also ongoing, as the Director of Public Prosecution is still to decide on a request by his attorneys to withdraw those charges. An operation by the narcotics branch of the Guyana Police Force at the Veldt on the Berbice River has unearthed 10 marijuana fields and more than 700,000 pounds of marijuana. In a statement, the police force said the operation started at 4 o'clock this morning and ended at 3 this afternoon. During the 11-hour operation, a total of 10 marijuana fields with over 200,000 marijuana plants were destroyed. The police also said 5 camps were also discovered, along with a drying area. In one of the camps, the ranks discovered 2,500 pounds of dried marijuana. A search in a nearby area unearthed a 12-gauge shotgun along with 49 live 12-gauge cartridges. They also discovered a nursery with more than 200,000 seedlings. The estimated weight of the dried and eradicated cannabis is just over 741,000 pounds. The police said an estimated value stands at several billions of dollars. The suspected marijuana and camps were destroyed by fire. Firearm and ammunition along with a cellular phone found at the scene have been taken into police custody. There was no arrest as no one was found at the destroyed marijuana fields. In the courts, an East Rheinveld resident who was recently arrested in connection with a murder investigation was today charged and remanded to jail for the possession of an unlicensed firearm, ammunition, and discharging a loaded firearm. 27-year-old Wayne Castello, who is also known as Top Cat, appeared before Magistrate Lerone Daly at the Georgetown Magistrates Court today and pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. It is alleged that on the 27th of August at East Rheinveld, Castello had in his possession a 9mm pistol along with 6 rounds of matching ammunition when he is not a licensed firearm holder. Also on the same day, it is alleged that he discharged a firearm at police officer Kester Cuthbert with intent to maim, disfigure, or cause actual bodily harm. Castello was spotted by a party of policemen in the East Randolph area, and he opened fire during an attempt to escape. He was shot to one of his legs during his escape bid and arrested. In court today, the magistrate refused him bail. He will make his next court appearance later this month. He is still being investigated in connection with the murder of Navindra Samaru and also being investigated for several robberies. A 43-year-old pedal cyclist died on the spot this afternoon after being hit down by a 4x4 vehicle. He is still to be identified. The accident occurred just after 1 o'clock this afternoon outside Yokohama, auto trading along the Rupert Craig Highway on the east coast of Demerara. The speeding 4x4 vehicle toppled into the fence of the auto dealership and back onto the roadway after slamming into the cyclist.
The man was doing it from since UG Road. UG Road, he trying to undertake all the time. On UG Road, stoplight be working, you can see naturally take the undertake and come through. But he couldn't make it because people on the road. He come reach actually here, then he undertake. With his speed, he undertake and knock the tail by a pitchy way.
The driver of the 4x4 vehicle has since been hospitalized with multiple injuries. Police investigators are probing the accident tonight. Across the region is coming up next. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
New to online learning? You're probably wondering what it's like. Our online platform creates an engaging learning experience. Using any device, you can be a part of amazing class discussions, collaborate with others, and have access to virtual learning software with the help of our experienced tutors. With our multiple payment methods, you will never have to leave home. Find out how tech can allow you to learn anything, anywhere, at any time.
Falls, the official distributors of Castrol Marine, Mining and Power Gen Lubricants in Guyana, now has in stock CRB engine oils, high-spin hydraulic oil, Vecton semi-synthetic truck oils, and Sultex cylinder oils. For the best prices, check our dealers countrywide or visit Falls Gas Station at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, or call the commercial manager on 608-4998. Castrol, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, the Barbados Digital ID and National ID Card Replacement Project officially started with the signing of a contract between the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Smart Technology and Productive Business Solutions Barbados Limited. The signing took place recently at the Ministry's office. The Productive Business Solutions Company will be the supplier of software, ID cards, printers, and professional services for the project, which is estimated to last 4 months. The Digital ID and National ID Card Replacement Project is a major transformational initiative of the Government of Barbados that will be executed by the Ministry and the Electoral Department. On completion of the project, the digital identity system will provide user authentication in online transactions and facilitate the signing of documents electronically. This evening, there is some encouraging figures out of Brazil, the country with the second highest number of confirmed coronavirus cases and deaths after the US. Last week, the daily average of COVID-related deaths in the South American country dropped below 900, the lowest in 3.5 months. But experts warn it is still too early to say that the worst is over. The most recent figures from yesterday put a dampening on things when Brazil again registered more than 1,200 COVID-related deaths. The country is expected to pass 4 million cases later this week. And finally tonight, international news. Facebook has announced that it will not take on any new political ads in the 7 days prior to the US election on the 3rd of November. However, the firm will still allow existing ads to continue to be promoted and targeted at different users. Chief Executive of Facebook Mark Zuckerberg revealed the measure in a Facebook post. He said that he was worried about divisions in the country, potentially leading to civil unrest. He added that Facebook would also label posts from candidates attempting to declare victory before the votes had been counted. The social network has faced criticism for allowing political ads to be micro-targeted on its platform, so that they are only seen by small communities rather than debated more widely in the days after they appear. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.